Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Doug Mitchell here with Ogletree Financial. I want to thank you for taking your time to be on our call today. It's going to be a good one. We've got Shara Theraldson from North American. She's our internal over there, and she's going to actually be running us through some scenarios that are pretty common in this area. So what we want to do is we've got a software program called InsMark. Some of you may have heard about it, some of you maybe not, but it's something that we provide at no cost to you, and it does a great job of comparing a 401k or an IRA, traditional IRA, or even a Roth IRA to an IUL. And where it's really strong is it shows the tax advantages of using IUL versus maybe a Roth or the traditional qualified retirement plan. When it comes to IUL, most of us are selling IUL because of what it does, the accumulation that it can provide, the tax-free income that it can provide. If we're, going out for a protection sale, we typically will use another product, not really the IULs that are built for cash accumulation. If somebody's looking for their death benefit, they want to buy the most amount of life insurance they can buy with the least amount of money. And the way we design these, it's just the opposite. We're trying to get as much cash into these policies as possible and not have a big death benefit. We don't want a lot of expenses in the policy. So what we want to share with you today are some ideas that you can take out with you to show how powerful the IUL is. Some of you are not working through us right now at Ogletree. We'd love to talk to you about the cases that you've got working. We'd love to maybe run you some comparisons, some projections, and show you the software on how it looks. But right now, we're going to show you a couple different scenarios. They're very common. We look at these a lot with our advisors. So we're going to be comparing to a 401k and a Roth. So Jar, we've already got these ready to go. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and
All right.
Let's talk about these scenarios.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for having me here, and thanks to all of you for taking some time to hear what we've got to share with you. I think Doug put together a really good title for this. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I think your jaw might drop a little bit when you see the output from InsMark that we're going to share with you today. Everybody at some point becomes more and more focused on planning for retirement and putting money away for retirement. And so people will use the vehicles that they have available to them, typically through their employer. Sometimes they'll reach out to an advisor and set up a 401k. But of course, there's limits to both of those, one to qualify and one what you can put in. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And some people, aren't eligible for either one of them. And so if they are eligible and healthy enough to get underwritten for life insurance, we're probably going to be able to help them out. So that's what we want to talk to you about today. And while people are planning for their retirement and stocking money away in, say, their 401k and Roth IRAs, one thing that they don't know is in the future, when it comes time to take that money out, what are the tax rates going to be? Now, for a Roth IRA, it doesn't really matter because that's not taxable later. But their money in their 401k is going to be taxable, and what rate is that going to be? So that's going to have an impact on the money that they've put away and that they actually get in their hand as a result of that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a tax attorney. I cannot talk really about give you tax advice. But we do have a really great piece, and I'm going to share it with you in its entirety here at the end. It's a consumer approved piece. So this is talking about your client being able to manage their tax allocation in the future. but they have to put money in each one of these buckets during their earning years to be able to pull money out of them. So if we start, let me get just a little laser pointer here because there's a lot on the screen. So if we
And by
start,
the way, all of this that we're showing you today, we do have available for you. So if you'd like it, just let us know and we can get that over to you after the webinar.
so basically we have 3 buckets of where to put your money for retirement. So there's a taxable bucket, and if you look down here, this is your traditional and self-directed brokerage accounts, your CDs, Bitcoin, etc. This is funded with after-tax dollars, potentially taxed at current income rates or current capital gain rates. Okay, so this is how it's going to be taxed in the future. Then you've got tax deferred. So this is most of those employer-sponsored retirement plans, like a 401k. So you're putting in pre-tax dollars that are going to grow tax deferred until it's the time for withdrawals. And at that point, it's going to be taxed. Okay, so here's the rate there. So this is where a lot of people end up getting their money in their 401k and their traditional IRAs in this bucket. And what we're going to be talking, contrasting actually today, is the tax advantage bucket. And the tax advantage bucket consists of Roth IRAs, which some people qualify for and some people do not. And the people that qualify, they're limited on how much money they can put in there. But look at this other piece that's in this bucket over here. It's life insurance. So you're putting after-tax dollars in that are going to be income tax and capital gains tax-free in the future. And as long as it's structured properly, so when we, and this is where you're going to rely on the expertise of Ogletree when they run the illustrations for you, is we're going to make sure that we design it not to become a MAC, a modified endowment contract, so that it maintains its tax advantages. So today, we're going to be comparing a 401k that's in this bucket here, and we're going to be comparing the Roth IRA and the life insurance. That's what we're looking at today. And that's where when we utilize the free tool of INSMARK, where that is really going to be an eye-opener for your clients and perhaps for you. So the rest of this brochure, which is a one-page flyer, a little bit lower down on the one-page flyer, it shows this is what people's tax buckets look like in retirement. Usually that 401k is the largest part of it, and it's still taxable when they take the money out, and there's very little in their tax advantage vehicle. Okay, so what we're trying to do is help them get that a little bit more balanced, so that, especially like if you think about people's 401ks this last year, and maybe if they were thinking about retiring this year. So last year they probably suffered a loss, and if that's their only vehicle to take money out of, they're kind of feeling in those losses. Whereas if they have a bucket over here that has more money that's not taxable, maybe they only take out of the tax advantage vehicle, the Roth or the life insurance policy, and give that 401k a little time to recover, rather than feeling in those losses. So this can really help them achieve more and save on taxes and have more available and options for them in the future. So I went to the handy dandy World Wide Web this morning just to make sure I had the updated numbers. And so for the 401k limit, if they work for an employer that offers a 401k, which there's many that don't, or maybe they're self-employed and don't have a 401k, there's contribution limits. There's maximum amounts of what they can put in based on their age, 22.5, and an extra 7,500 if they're 50 or over. So those are that, but they're limited at that. And so if they're a high income earner, they might want to put more away than that. Now, anytime somebody has a 401k that they're getting matching from their employer, you certainly want to advise them to take advantage of that. But if they're putting dollars in that are unmatched, maybe those are initially some dollars that you could reposition to the life insurance policy. Or if they want to put in more than this. And you'll see that in one of our examples today is putting more than this in because they're a high income earner. And then next, I just want to show you the limits for the Roth IRA limits for this year. So only $6,500 is what somebody can put away under the age of 50. And again, they might want to put in more. Now, also, they might not be eligible to put in based on their income. So their income limits are listed here if they're single or married. If they're high income earners, they're over that. So Roth IRAs are off the table. All right. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to compare two individuals. We're going to take a 35-year-old and a 45-year-old. One of them, we're going to use the Roth IRA limit, and then on the other one, we're going to use a 401k that's actually over and above the limits that you can put into a 401k. So before I move out of the slide deck here, and actually to the INSMARC pages, reports that I've prepared, anything that you want to add here at this point, Doug, before we move into actually looking at the comparison?
Because in these comparisons, a lot of cases that we do illustrate, some of our advisors want to see, let's compare this to a Roth IRA, and it may be a $30,000 contribution. Well, you can't put that much into a Roth IRA. So just keep in mind, a lot of these examples that we're going to show, or the examples we're going to show, you may or may not be able to do it, but we at least want to be able to show your clients, if you could do it, here's what it would look like.
All right. So first of all, here's that one-page flyer. This is actually consumer approved. And so the pieces that I just took you through, this is what it looks like. How can your client be more balanced as far as their tax vehicles at retirement? So this is a piece that will, they're right here. I can see them in my folder. All right, here we go. I think we got this. Let's see. Whew.
There it is.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay. So what I was trying to say is that this is 12 pages long. I usually use certain reports, but every time I save it, I always take the page numbers off so that they're not down here at the bottom. So then you can choose to use which reports you want to use. Okay. And then they're not wondering why page 2 and 3 are missing. Okay. So let's get this to fit all the way across the page so that we can see the full benefit of it. So over here on the left-hand side is our Roth IRA. And then on the right-hand side is our Builder Plus. And like I said, this was a 35-year-old that we're putting $6,500 away. That's the Roth IRA limit. So these are after-tax dollars. That's what we're doing in the life insurance policy. That gives us a death benefit of $321,000 with our Builder Plus IUL. And so we solve for the minimum death benefit, which is $321,000. And like Doug said, we do this to keep the cost down and so that we can grow the most cash value. And then as you'll see down here a little bit further, we start drawing at age 60 the maximum income. And when we run this in the IUL illustration, we're running it to solve for the maximum loan that they can take from 60, and we went all the way to 120. Okay, so this is coming out to be $39,348. Over here on the Roth IRA, remember this was after tax dollars, so they can take that money out and it's not taxable, just like the life insurance policy. The difference is, if we look at the account value right before we start taking money on the Roth IRA, it's at $321,000, and over here in the Builder Plus policy, we're about $40,000 better. We're $363,000. Okay, so you might think right away, oh well, that means you're only going to get one extra year, maybe two, out of the Builder Plus because it had a little extra growth. We did illustrate them, by the way, at the same interest rate, the 5.97, but our Builder Plus has bonuses built in. So there's an extra bonus on the index that we chose here, which is the Fidelity. So it's getting extra bonus of 1.65 in years 1 through 10, and 2.65 bonus in years 11 and on. So that is part of what's making the extra 40,000 there. But we did have cost of insurance in here too. So this is the first 5 years. You can see we're neck and neck as far as money that we're getting out of the Roth IRA and money that we're getting out of the life insurance policy. This is where your jaw should drop, is when we get to the next page here. Because every time we take money out of the Roth IRA, it's a complete withdrawal, and you'll see that the account value is going down. You know, there's still interest being earned inside of the Roth IRA for the money that's remaining, but otherwise every year it's going down by 39,000. Over here on the contrast, the account value, we're taking 40 out, but it's actually going up because it's taken out as a loan. And that's the beauty of an IUL product, is that you're taking a loan out of the contract that will be paid off when you die. And so the difference between the interest rate that the loaned money is earning in the index compared to what we're charging for a loan rate usually can still be a positive arbitrage. So taking a $40,000 loan out, the money, this $40,000 could still maybe be earning 3% positive arbitrage over and above what the loan interest rate is inside of the contract. So that's a plus that you won't find in the Roth IRA. So ready, drum roll, here we go to the next page. Here we continue the next years. So age 65, we're able to take it out for 5 more years. And then that last year, just $2,000 before the Roth IRA is completely depleted. If you look over here in column 6, we continue taking $39,000 out of the Builder Plus, and we continue it all the way to age 120.
And I'll say that a lot of times we illustrate that Roth IRA at 7 or 8%, which is really, it's higher than what people are getting out there in the market. And the 5.97 still will outperform that.
Yeah, and so here, I'll just stop here at 94. I mean, those are the next page, but the Roth IRA gave them $395,000 of tax-free income. But the life insurance policy, we're talking about almost $1.4 million from $162,000 that they put into it. In addition, there's still $450,000 that'll be payable upon death. This is after the loan is paid off. See, the account value is growing to $4 million, and the surrender value, so the difference between $4 million and $408 is that loan balance. It's growing quite a bit. Its interest is being charged, but then interest is earning. You're also seeing that this account value is growing. So after we pay off that almost $4 million loan at this point with the interest, there's still $448,000 to pay to their beneficiary. So you take that almost 500, this almost 1.4, and that's almost $2 million from this policy between retirement benefits and death benefit. And so this can be very powerful when you share it with your clients, and why they would maybe want to put that Roth IRA contribution into this policy, or maybe they put the 65 into the Roth IRA, and maybe they put an additional 6,500 into this. I mean, how that would just double their pockets there. All right, I'm going to open up the 401k comparison.
Okay.
And since the last one opened, this one should open too now. So sorry about that, but thanks for, I don't think we lost anybody, so thanks for sticking with me.
We kept everybody on, so that's good.
All right. Oh, that was nice of them. All right, they were interested to hear and see more. So this one is the 401k. And in this example, and these are graphs again, you can kind of talk through it. This one you're not going to see 401k. The default in the INSMARC is called TDRP, Tax Deferred Retirement Plan, and that is the 401k. So right here.
Now I will say we have created a custom that we do actually show 401k there. So it can be done. We just have to do it for you.
Yeah. And oh, this one, that's my bad. I must have missed the interest rate. So the interest rate is a tish lower here. That was my mistake. I didn't catch that. So just like Doug said, you can adjust the interest rate. You can go higher or lower. Most of the time, we keep it the same to compare it. But even like Doug said, you could go higher and say that it's getting 7%, and it's still going to outperform. Likewise, there's income tax bracket that you can put in tax brackets. You can, and again, I didn't update this, so I probably just carried over what was in the last time and maybe somebody specified it. But you can actually ask for a tax bracket that changes at retirement and maybe goes higher, maybe goes lower. Again, I didn't update this, so this probably should have said 20 years because that's until they retire. And then you can change the tax brackets, or you could leave it one tax bracket for all the years. The thing is nobody can predict the future on what the tax brackets are going to be. It could be higher, could be lower for a period of time. I mean, you just don't know how they're going to change, but they're probably not going to go away. So this one we get a few different columns over here for the 401k because, first of all, we're trying to put the same after-tax dollars in. So because this is pre-tax, this actually makes the adjustment that this is actually putting in $52,000 of pre-tax dollars to have the same after-tax equivalent that we're putting into the IUL policy, 40, okay? And then because this is a 401k, let's see, so column 4 is what the value is at the end of the year, but column 5 is if it was distributed, because there would be a penalty because at 45 we're less than age 59 and a half, so there'd be a penalty. And then of course it also shows the after tax if it was due to death. So this is if they surrendered it and it cashed it out, and this is if they died, what would be taxable. So that's the difference in how you read those columns on a comparison like this. Now, 401k, we just saw the slides. We can't put this much money into a 401k, but if you could, if you have a high income earner, if you could, let's see how it would compare. And so down here, we funded $40,000 a year into the Builder Plus for 20 years, and then the max income we were getting out was $150,000. And again, when we compare, it takes the same exact money out. Now, this is the after-tax equivalent. So I think there's another report in here that will actually show that they're actually taking more than $150 out, so that after taxes, they're netting $150. So you see there's an adjustment on the money going in, and there's also an adjustment on the money going out. And actually, column 3 with these two asterisks, I think if I scroll down a little bit more, you'll see those details. Right here, the two asterisks. Withdrawals have been grossed up to account for the income tax required to produce the after-tax values shown in column 3. By the way, I did leave some sales charge and management fees on the 401k. Of course, you can adjust those to what your client situation actually is. You know, we have charges on the IUL, cost of insurance charges, account value charges. There's fees associated with the IUL. So we don't really want to strip everything down, and there are some fees on the 401k potentially, or the Roth IRA. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to include those, but those also are all adjustable to your specific scenario for your client. And so again, at this point, we're neck and neck. 800 after tax in, 1.5 million out. And then again, this is the shell shocker when we get to the next page. Look at that. We ran out of money because these are true and complete withdrawals of money. You don't have that positive arbitrage in there anymore. So if you wanted that 401k to last longer, you're going to have to take a lot less out. But because of the positive arbitrage that we can get inside of an IUL, we can continue to keep taking this 150. Of course, this is based on this return. But it could be higher or lower, but it's still, you can see, continuing all the way to 120. So it's important on these IUL plans to look at the policies on an ongoing basis, just like people monitor and look at their 401ks, and they look at, they're probably, disappointed when they see the loss on a 401k in a given year, but if they've still got years to work in retirement, they can watch it recover. The beauty of an IUL is in a down year, each of the IUL index options have a 0% floor. So the client doesn't participate in a 5%, a 15%, a 20% loss. They just get zero that year. They have less that they have to recover from.
And
then
2022 was a great example of that.
Yeah. And this 35 and 45-year-old could experience, more of that in the future, or other, year or 2 year or 3 year periods where that happens again. And so you're protecting them from the downside risk by having some money in this vehicle. And likewise, if we go back here and they did have money in their 401k, again, if it just came off of a year where it was a loss, now they could take more or only out of their IUL and give that money time to recover. It doesn't mean they're not going to have any money in that vehicle, but like I shared with you, is we want to kind of diversify and give them some money in that tax deferred vehicle or that tax advantage vehicle, so that they have money to draw on. But you can't take out of there if you never put any money in. So with that, I am going to, I guess I'll just maybe flip back to this and go back here. We're trying to fill up this bucket so that they have the 0% tax. Even if they were to change taxes in the future, a plan that started today on these, it's never going to apply to it. These will be grandfathered in, and hopefully they never do. But I mean, right now, get this plan started and start putting money into this bucket, so you have, for sure, it doesn't matter what taxes are in the future, this bucket will be 0% taxable.
Yeah, we're definitely not saying to let this be your one and only strategy. It's just another bucket. It's just another way to hedge against those taxes that we know are going to be going up in the future.
Absolutely. So the two INSMARC reports that I took you through, I'm going to share those with Doug. So if you would like to have those, or like the one-page flyer with this screen and the previous screen, that's a consumer approved piece. And then by all means, reach out to Doug about maybe it's yourself personally to start with, or a client. How North American's Builder Plus, and then the INSMARC presentation could help you, make a sale for that. I will tell you that our Builder Plus 3 is top ranked in the industry right now against the top other 10 IUL writers, carrier writers. We've actually had tremendous growth in that product, and as a company ourselves, we just went from the 18th largest writer of underwritten life policies to the 13th. In 1 year, we moved up 5 places. And we're not stopping anytime soon. So we've got a very strong product with very strong product features to help your client in the future. Of course, the illustrations that we use today, we're using our low volatility index, which is offered by Fidelity, and is proprietary to us here at North American. So it was using that. It also used our fixed participating loan. But we have 3 different loan types that the client can use. And we have about 10 different index options that the client can choose from. And we have a lot of other features built into the product to help your client in the future. Like they can change loan types in the future without a payoff out of their pocket. And so it's just a really powerful product, and just cash value life insurance is a very important piece for anyone's retirement, especially so as long as they're insurable. You know, for the people that are uninsurable, this is kind of off the table for them. But I'll tell you that even at a table 2 or table 4, because we're solving for a minimum death benefit to maximize the cash value growth, this still can work. Of course, if they're declined, well, we can't get them a policy. I myself started my IUL policy about 10 years ago. And so I'm into my policy that far. I just did a conversion of a term policy here at North American to increase my IUL so I could put more money in. I started my son on his policy when he was 18. He's now 24 this summer. He's taken over payments, but we started this plan for him at 18 when he was going to college. He wasn't even working really other than a side college job, but we actually started a retirement plan for him with IUL when he didn't even have that much earned income. Of course, mom was funding that, but now he's taken it over, and proud mom moment, I just saw he doubled his premium from $200 a month to $400 a month last month. So you can start it anywhere. The youngest is 15 days. And obviously, the earlier you start, the longer and better it has to grow. But get one started now for yourself and for your clients. All right, Doug, that's all I got. What do you got?
Yep. Thanks, Shar. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of marketing material that we have that North American has available. A lot of good talking points. If you will study the InSmart presentation and learn to talk about that while presenting an IUL, you're gonna overcome a lot of hurdles, and people are going to understand it better, especially when you can compare it to other options that are out there. It just makes it click for them. So give us a call. Let us help you. We'd love to work with you. We'll talk to you about our contracting, commission levels, and how we operate over here, running illustrations and InSmart. And then also we have some training that will help you with and get you dangerous enough to use a InSmart program yourself. So thanks again for being with us today. And Shar, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. And sorry for the technical difficulties, but thanks for sticking with us. We do appreciate it. Hope you have an awesome day.
Take care.